Sattva kutam puram stitam asmat sangrasana vyata vyala tunda yate nava ahumitani gadata sattva kutam purastitam asmat sangrasana vyata vyala tunda yate nava. Anyone that wants to chant can do so now. Unmute and do that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I will repeat text number 19. Aho mitrani gatada sattvakutam purahisthitam asmat sangrasana vyata vyala tundayate nava.
Ho mitrani garata sattva kutam parashtitam asmat sangrashana vyata vyala tundayate nava.
Anyone else?
Aho mitrani gadata satva kutam pura isthitam asmat sangra sanvyata vyala tundalayate nava.
Anyone else?
Mother Vindhyavali, please chant.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Aho mitrani gadata sattva kutam purasthitam asmat sangrasana yatva vyatya vyala tundayate nava. Hare Krishna.
Aho mitrani gatada sadva kutam purastidham asmat sangrasana vyata vyala tunda yate nava.
Aho mitrani gadata sattvakutam purastitam asmat sangrashna vyata vyala tunda yate nava.
Anyone else? Okay. So let's do synonyms, word for word. Aho, oh, mitrani, friends. Gadata, just let us know. Sattva kutam, dead python. Purastitam, as it is just before us all. Asmat, all of us. Sangasana, to devour us altogether. Vyata, vyala, tundayate, the python has spread its mouth. Nava, whether it is a fact or not. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The boys said, "Dear friends, is this creature dead, or is it actually a living python with its mouth spread wide just to swallow us all? Kindly clear up this doubt." Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The friends began to discuss among themselves the reality of the wonderful creature laying before them. Was it dead, or was it actually a living python trying to swallow them up? Om Gena Timidandasya Gyana Gena Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Scha Sri Rupa Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sa Advaitam Sa Abhadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Deshitarine. Namo Mahapadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gauratishe Namaha. Ananda Lilamaya Vigrahaya Himabhyati Vacha Vishunaraya Tasmi Mahaprema Raspadaya Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste. Hare Krishna. Okay. So the text actually begins from text 19 through 24, and it seems like you have the next text pulled up. So I'm going to read that and the translation and go on to the last one, which is text 24. So, Satyam Arka Karakaktam Kararaktam Uttara Hanuvad Ganam Adara Hanuvad Rodas Tat Prachitayanunam. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. You scroll up a little bit. Thereafter, they decided okay. They decided, dear friends, this is certainly an animal sitting here to swallow us all. Its upper lip resembles a cloud reddened by the sunshine, and its lower lip resembles the reddish shadows of a cloud. Okay, so, text 21. Pratispadite shikapyam sabha sabi nagodare tunga shringa layo pietas tatam strapis chapaschatam. Translation, English translation. On the left and right, the two depressions resembling mountain caves are the corners of its mouth, and the high mountain peaks are its teeth. Text 22. Ashitatyama marguyam rasanam patigarjati esam antargatam dvantam idad apyantar ananam. English translation. In length and breadth, the animal's tongue resembles a broad traffic way, and inside of its mouth is very, very dark, like a cave in a mountain. Text 23. Dabosna karabatu yam swashabat bati pashyata tadgadga sata dulgando Yantar Amisha Gandavat. English translation. The hot fiery wind is the breath coming out of his mouth, which is giving off a bad smell of burning flesh because of all the dead bodies he has eaten. Text 24. Asmad kingdom atagasita nivistan ayam tatachet bhakavad vinanchati Shanad aneneti bakari ushan mukam vikshoda santa kara tadanir yayu. English translation by Srila Prabhupada. Then the boy said, has this living creature come to swallow us? If he does so, he will immediately be killed like Bakasura without delay. Thus, they looked at the beautiful face of Krishna, the enemy of Bakasura, and laughing loudly and clapping their hands, they entered the mouth of the python. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. After talking about the terrible animal this way and that way, they decided to enter the demon's mouth. They had full faith in Krishna because they had experienced how Krishna had saved them from the mouth of Bakasura. Now, here was another Asura, Agasura. Therefore, they wanted to enjoy the sport of entering the demon's mouth and being saved by Krishna, the enemy of Bakasura. Now, Hare Krishna. So you can see the trend here, probably. This is a situation where Krishna and Balaram are with the cowherd boys. Demons have been coming before. Every one of them has left the body, compliments of Krishna, took care of them, and took care of them in fashion, as he always does. The demon is different, the way he kills him is different, and the cowboy is enjoying the sport. So they know Bakasura, the great bird, has come. He even swallowed Krishna. And Krishna came right out and broke his beak, and he was gone. Now Agasura, by the way, Putana, Bakasura, and Agasura are family. Radha Swami says, Putana is the woman, 12 miles long, and his brother is Bakasura, and the other brother is Agasura. Quite a family, aren't they? All of them demons. And all of them gotten to work for, or made to work, actually more so, for Kamsa. Kamsa defeated all of them. And so it wasn't a situation where they wanted to help him. They have no choice. Where he tells them to go is where they go. That's demons. They like control like that. So here, Agasura has come. Now he's 9 miles long. A little shorter than Putana, who's 12 miles long. You're going to look at it from that standpoint. So he's come as a snake, and he's kind of decoying, trying to deceive the cowherd boys by remaining still. But he's opened his mouth wide. And a few things about him are giveaways. You can tell a little bit, these boys. So they're just kind of trying to figure out what's the real deal going on here. Is this a big reptile coming to swallow us? She says that in text 19, the boy said, dear friends, is this creature dead? Well, it's still, and still things, dead things remain still. So yeah, that's a good point, but they're trying to figure it out. Or is it actually a living python with its mouth spread wide just to swallow us all? Kindly clear up this doubt. So then they began to discuss among themselves whether it was living or dead. Well, then they decided that they were kind of getting on the right track. The Lord is in the heart of everyone anyway, so a little help there. The next text. Dear friends, this is certainly an animal sitting here to swallow us all. Its upper lip resembles a cloud reddened by the sunshine, and its lower lip resembles the reddish shadows of a cloud. So now they're trying to figure out, and they say, all right, well, it may be. Now look, on the left and on the right, there are two depressions. They resemble mountain caves, and they may be corners of his mouth, and high mountain peaks are his teeth. All right. In length and breadth, the animal's tongue resembles a broad traffic way, and inside of its mouth is very, very dark, like a cave in a mountain. The hot, fiery wind is the breath coming out of his mouth, which is giving off a bad smell of burning flesh because of all the dead bodies he has eaten. Now, this particular point that they're making makes them realize, yeah, this is more of a confirmation that this is not a dead situation here that we're dealing with. This is very much alive. This is a demon out here to get us. The hot, fiery wind is the breath coming out of his mouth, which is giving off a bad smell of burning flesh because of all the dead bodies he's eaten. So that from their smelling, they are really, really confirming, almost confirm that this is a living creature. So then he said, has this living creature come to swallow us? Then he says, now they believe in Krishna. If he does so, Krishna will immediately take care of him, just like he did Bakasura. Hmm? So then they looked at the beautiful face of Krishna, like to get approval. Krishna didn't say anything. And then they laughed loudly and clapped their hands, just like the boys that they are. And then they entered the demon's mouth, the mouth of the python. They knew all the while that whatever happens, they have full faith in Krishna. And boy, do we need that understanding. Full faith in Krishna. We come to Krishna consciousness because we believe in God. Shraddha, the first thing. You come to Krishna consciousness and you associate with devotees, sadhu sangha. And by hearing words of Krishna from the devotees, our faith can increase. And through that, and the mercy of Krishna, Yashat Prashad, Bhagavat Prashad, by the mercy of Krishna, one may connect with Guru, a particular Guru that they are the devotee is interested in, get Diksha initiation, now formally join Parampara, and for this Kali Yuga, and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we chant a minimum of 16 rounds of japa. Then the regulated principles. No meat, no fish, no eggs, no intoxication, no gambling, and sex life is for having children with your spouse, and that's the way it is. And if you're brahmachari, then no sex life, like that. Now, we take these vows, and then the process begins, the process of purification. Now, as we go through purification, and Krishna says, Ye yatama papadyante tam sateva bhajamyaham. The more we surrender, he rewards accordingly. So by taking the words of Krishna said, not contaminated, unalloyed, from the devotees and from Guru, Shiksha as well as your Diksha Guru, we build faith, greater faith, slowly, 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 slowly. We believe more, and the more we believe, the more we surrender to the process. Our faith increases. Now, if we compare the cowherd boys, they were 100% confident in Krishna and Krishna's ability. To top that up, they had actually seen other demons killed by Krishna. So to them, it's become a sport. They are so confident about Krishna's ability to get rid of the demons that even this demon that didn't come at them, it was just waiting. They went to him. They went to the demon. They got the demons by clapping their hands like some festival they could enjoy. Now, it's not a festival going into a snake's mouth. They have already identified it. But because they know Krishna is going to make it into some spectacle, they wanted to see it. Now, only on one hand, though, they wanted to see it. But they also knew that Krishna was enjoying the pastime of killing demons. Therefore, if they went into Krishna's, the python's mouth, Krishna will perform another pastime for his own enjoyment. And they'll get to participate in it. Whatever happens to them, well, the soul is the soul. It's controlled by Krishna. The soul leaves, the soul can come back. It's all by Krishna's power and Krishna's mercy. So they decided to be servants in this pastime that was about to unfold. We learn a lot from this because our own faith has to be so high that whatever the situation is, yes, there's common sense way of doing things. That's always there because since Krishna, same Krishna has given us intelligence and would guide us, but we should have full faith that whatever happens, Krishna is in control. That was the situation that the cowherd boys had gotten to, even as young as they were. They knew that Krishna can protect. So in our Krishna consciousness, there are a number of principles, by the way, that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj laid out. There are 64 of them. And in connection with the faith that we need to build, we'll go through some of these by your permission and guidance from the Parampara. The first principle, no, we're not going to do all 64, I've chosen some of them. Principle number 1, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction in Shikshashtakam, that instruction says, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam is the only motto of this Gaudiya Mass. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction in Shastakam, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, is the only motto of Gaudiya Mass. Now, why do we bring this here? It's because we have to have faith in this process that in Kali Yuga, the Dharma, the Yuga Dham, is the Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj is saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction is do the mantra over and over and over and over and over again all day. And by the way, all night too. So we're going to talk about how it can be done all night when we're sleeping. It is actually possible to hear the mantra all day. That's up to us, wherever we are. We look at our situation, the mantra can be playing, the words, the chanting, Srila Prabhupada's japa, recording of it can be playing in the background wherever we are. Or the mantra can be sung as in bhajan or kirtan, again, wherever we are. It all depends how we, our situation and how we connect with the mantra. We may chant in the morning, which is a good thing to do. Chant in the morning, we say may because the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said they know how to pass through to chanting the holy name. But of course, chanting in the Brahma Muhurta hour, 4 to 6, as Govinda Maharaj stresses, is a very, very good idea because that's when the air is clean, it's cleanest. We're talking about metaphysically, cleanest. So it's good to give that time to Krishna by chanting the holy name. Now, he's saying, he means Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, this is the way we have to live. The greatest victory, conquest in this world is chanting of the Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya has come to distribute that Krishna Prema. Lord Chaitanya is God himself, who has come in the most magnanimous form. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gurati Se Namaha, which means, oh munificent, most munificent incarnation, your Krishna himself appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You've assumed the golden color, golden color of Srimati Radharani, and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer our respectful obeisances to you. Now, with faith, and we're taking this process seriously, a devotee can achieve that aim that's there, Krishna Prema, love of God. The other day, in fact, last Thursday, we were listening to a lecture on Zoom by His Holiness Chandamali Swami. And he brought up the point that when the year begins, people have their own, this time I have my resolution. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this and that. He said his own resolution, this is His Holiness Chandamali Swami, is, and he's Guru now, and he's just saying, I would take Krishna consciousness even more seriously. He said we should go after Krishna consciousness, trying to achieve Krishna Prema. Krishna Prema is a goal. Well, goal is there to be achieved. The goal is not there to be just looked at. It's to be achieved. Krishna Prema is love of Godhead. And once we get to the love of Godhead, the relationship between Krishna and ourselves becomes so sweet. We would not believe our eyes and our ears and everything else, our senses practically, what Krishna can do and Krishna will do. Therefore, there is transcendental joy waiting for us if we take the process seriously and shoot for it. A number of us have been to university. We had a degree. We knew what we wanted. We chose subjects to head for that particular major and a degree. And we took life seriously, academic life. Challenges came. We did the best that we could do to get help when we needed it, to overcome the difficulties that we had. We took exams. We took them seriously. We got promoted to the next grade and to the next grade and to the next grade. And then the final exam came to graduate. Now we could see it. Now we've been through all of that. How come Krishna Prema is not looked at as our graduation point? Why? Because the teacher, Prabhupada says, oh, okay, you're not so good, so we give you a break, So, okay, so he's giving you a break. But you yourself have to try to push for what you need. A little break means we're not going to let you fall off the program. But it does not mean that the program's aim is not there. That we have to get to. And so the point that His Holiness Chandamali Swami was making, and the points Sri Govinda Maharaj has been making all along, because he doesn't even preach at the second class level. He stays at first class. Krishna Prema, you can get there. You can get there. Now, so we have to keep pushing. What are some of the things? Well, the cowherd boys have shown us one thing. They have complete faith in Krishna by what they did in the situation of Agasura. So that's definitely for us. We have to have good faith. And we have to help each other to increase our faith. Now, how do we do that? Help each other with our weaknesses to try to overcome them. To try to overcome them. There's one humble way to approach this. And actually, yesterday in the afternoon, there was a class given by Mr. David, that's my wife, and another god sister of ours, Jamavadi, got on the Zoom, and a few things that our spiritual master taught us. They discussed a little bit of it. He challenged us. This is Bhakti Swami, that in all humility we can take a piece of paper and a pencil and approach a devotee we know quite well and say, Prabhu, I know this is difficult for me, but I really want to grow in Krishna consciousness. Can you point out to me some of the things that I need to work on? Now, it's easier said than done, but it certainly can be done. And if the person is genuine and wants to help you, genuine, not that he's not like a person that's a fair with a friend and they know your faults, but they don't want to tell you. If you go yourself to the person and say, please tell me something, I know I'm not perfect, but I want to, work on getting purified. So what is some of the things that you think could be done better that I'm not doing so well? You can put it mildly that way. They're going to tell you. Maybe you should watch this, you should watch this, you should watch your promptness, this, so many things they can point out. Now, Bhakti Maharaj says, don't let your ego get into a defensive position. Oh, but why are you telling me something like this? But you came to hear things that you could work on. So even if it's true or not true, don't fight it. Just write it down. Just write it down. Just write it down. People perceive things about us sometimes that we don't see about ourselves. And our minds want to tell us that, oh yeah, we're wonderful. When there's a problem, there are two sides to it. There's always two sides to it. And while the other side may be seen by you as they're being so wrong, we want to think that they are 100% wrong, but it's never the case. If we're really humble, they could be 95% wrong. There's 5% that's our fault. We always have to look at something that we could have done ourselves to make the process or the disturbance this time between us and the other person not so bad. There's always something we can do. Even our approach, the words that we use, sometimes we get angry and then we want to use harsh words. But if you use harsh words and make the other devotee uncomfortable, that's an aparad. That's an aparad. Even if you're right, it's called saying the right thing the wrong way. The wrong way is an aparad. So we have to be careful how we speak. If you see devotees that have been in Krishna consciousness for a long time, decades, they are usually quite careful how they choose their words. Guru can chastise because that's their position, the position of a coach. And a coach can definitely come out and tell you things that you're doing wrong, or go tell things that I'm doing wrong, because the aim is not to put us down. The aim is to make us better at what we do. Okay, so the coach can be in that situation. That's the guru. But the rest of us, if we want to help each other, we have to use nice, mild words. Or if a person won't hear us because we're junior or whatever the reason is, you go to somebody else that can, in fact, talk to that person and the person would hear and dodge our complaints there. so that it can be dealt with on our behalf. That way, the relationship is maintained wonderfully. Now, the Cowherd boys, they had a wonderful relationship among themselves. They always kidded with each other, sometimes so much that they can even tease each other and they don't get annoyed. Lunchbox, somebody's lunchbox, they take and they throw it to this person, and they can see, give me my lunchbox, give me my lunchbox. They throw it around, throw it around, throw it around. Speaking about that, I'll tell you one true situation that happened. This is before His Holiness Bhakti Swami left the body. He had one program for Bhakti Swami disciples because, of course, our Guru Maharaj is left, so he was helping us in Krishna consciousness. He had this program at Potomac Temple in Maryland. So it was announced, and some of us attended the program. Now, during morning Prashadam time, there were a number of us, we were all God family members. We hadn't seen each other in a long time. And so we were in the same table, and there was one Mataji, our God sister, and she came with her prasadam plate, so, and then she went to get some nectar. And then when she left, one of the Matajis from Detroit took the prasadam and hid it. So when she came back, the prasadam was not there. And everybody's looking at her to see how she would react to it. She knew we were kidding, but she also wanted to eat. Where's the prasadam? My God brother, white body Aja says, I don't know anything about it, don't ask me. So this basically just came a game that we played until finally we realized that she was really, really getting quite testy here. And then finally came out. Finally gave it to her. But see, it's all in joke though. It's all in joke. We need to take each other lightly sometimes. We just sometimes too harsh on each other. We're supposed to be relating in a wonderful way in a spiritual world. They don't take each other seriously. They love each other to death. That's the expression. So we could do the same thing here. Lighten up. Just like Akaho boys, they lightened up and they have complete faith in Krishna. Oh yeah, I got Suraj like this, and his mountain caves, and, this tongue is like a highway. They describe it huge creature. But we're gonna go in this mountain anyway because Krishna, we've seen him do it. He could do it again. It will be a different way this time. So they are totally submitted in play. It's play, but they are totally submitted. They have full faith in Krishna. And that is faith that we need to cultivate. Now, we may not play the same kind of game that they play, but our faith should be high so that every time we know in our minds, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna is in control. Therefore, especially before we begin our day, we chant, but we also pray. Vandanam is one of the 9 processes. We pray, Dear Gurudev, because that's the representative of Krishna. Dear Lord Guranga, Lord Nityananda, this day, everything I do, please let it be according to your plan. Use my mind. Whatever that comes through, you approve of it or disapprove of it. If it's good, let it happen. If it's not good, you sabotage it or replace it with something. So that way, you should be sincere with that prayer. That way, your whole day, everything that happens, even if it comes to your, the mind decides that, but since you've prayed that way, then it is Krishna or Guru that has approved that particular way of doing things. And if not, then you see it doesn't work. And so when it doesn't work, you shouldn't think, why I'm trying to this, why this happened this way. That's your ego taking over. If you pray like that and something doesn't work, then Krishna doesn't want it to work. You have to understand that way. Then there's another way. And then if you pray in your mind, so you should be more of in a pensive mood, calm, grave mood, always focusing and also praying the whole time with the chanting of the holy name. Then the Lord will actually decide everything according to his plan. And even those things that seem to be against what we thought of the first time, or we tried it and didn't work, there will be something else that will happen at the end of the day. You realize that what happened was actually the best. Because Krishna controls everything. Krishna is time. And everything Here, he says everything emanates from me. Aham Savasa Prabhu. So everything. We have to remember that Krishna is in control, and you keep chanting. So your mindset is in Krishna consciousness the whole time. The cowherd boys, they play with Krishna, but they also think of Krishna the whole time. When they go home, they talk about the things that happen, the pastimes of Krishna. It becomes a little difficult for the adults to believe it because they're talking about superhuman stuff. But every day they come and say the same thing because the demon comes every day from Kansa. And Krishna takes care of them, causes them to leave their body and therefore liberates them. He's also liberating on that side. The cowboys may not know that, but Krishna is liberating those souls and cleaning up all the negativity on the earth at the same time by getting rid of these demons. So it is a good situation for the earth. It is a fantastic situation that the cowherd boys get to watch. This is killing of the demons. They get to watch that. And we are also hearing this so that our faith would increase and we'll be reminded that Krishna is the supreme controller. And therefore, if you go by his instruction, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. Submit to his instruction and do things as you've been taught to the spiritual master. Principle number 2. This is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj's 64 principles. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the only enjoyer. Everyone and everything else are objects for his enjoyment. This is a thing that we should have, a statement that we should have at the back of our mind and literally live by it. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the only enjoyer. Everyone and everything else are objects for his enjoyment. Now, once we understand that way, then if we're trying to enjoy, then we are trying to take Krishna's position. And that is wrong. That's why we call ourselves having our false ego. Ego, E-G-O, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj gave a word, phrase for it, edging God out. Edging God out, ego. We want to be the controller and push God to the side. Well, demons do that. So once we try to be the controller, we won't really be, but we try to be the controller and don't realize Krishna's position, omnipotent position, then we are taking an ego that doesn't belong to us, that we are not qualified to be at. That's why we call those of us with false ego. The real ego is with Krishna as controller. And we also have to understand that our situation is we are servants of Krishna. And when we serve those who serve Krishna, then the more humble we become. And the more we actually enjoy satisfaction from the soul. That's how it works. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only enjoyer. The cowherd boys were not killing the demons. They weren't. It was Krishna that was killing the demons. Krishna was enjoying the killing. They were just watching. And Krishna was a hero. So faith in the strength of Krishna is very important. The cowherd boys are showing that. So by no longer seeing ourselves as enjoyers, we can begin to see Krishna as the only enjoyer, and this understanding will also enable us to have a clear notion of our position and the position of the people around us. God ultimately is the only Purusha, the supreme enjoyer, and we're all Prakriti. We are the same as Krishna in quality, but different in quantity. Mamaivam Sajiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Manasastani Indriyani, Prakriti-stani Kashati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. That's what Krishna says. Mamaivam Sajiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. But due to conditioned life, Manasastani Indriyani, they're struggling very hard with the 6 senses, 5 senses, and the mind. And 6 senses, which include the mind. Bhagavad Gita 15, chapter 15, text 7. We don't have to struggle. We have to just submit to the process. Principle number 3. Anyone who does not serve Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is ignorant and a killer of himself. When he says himself, the self as a soul. Anyone who does not serve Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is ignorant. That is, they don't know what's what, and a killer of himself. So, Srila Prabhupada writes a purport of this. Intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after many, many, many years, millions of cycles of transmigration in different bodies. So when we come to the human form, we have to understand, like the material world, say Prabhupada says, is sometimes compared to an ocean, and the human body is a solid boat designed especially to cross the ocean. The non-human bodies cannot cross the ocean. But this one has a type of intelligence where we can question our existence. Who are we? Why are we suffering like this? And then take the process seriously as being in a boat with a spiritual master, the one that's guiding us on this boat, and their charges. All of them are compared to expert boatmen. So we have facilities, the favorable breezes, that's the Shastra, help us to fly smoothly to desired destination. So if with all of these facilities, a human being does not fully utilize this life of self-realization, then he's considered Atmaha, the killer of the soul. It also says in Sri Upanishad, the killer of the soul, whoever he may be, they have to enter to the planets of the world, the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. So Sri Upanishad also supports this. Now, we'll say one more thing, and that is, again, from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. Not part of the 64 principles, but he gave also words of wisdom. There's 25 of them. Now I'll read the very last one. Very important for us to do as a sign of humility and help. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj says, I wish that every selfless, tender-hearted person of this mass, Gaudiya Math, will be prepared to shed 200 gallons of blood for the nourishment of the spiritual corpus of every individual in this world. I wish, now Guru's wish has to be taken seriously. I wish that every selfless, tender-hearted person, stop. Selfless, very important. If we're selfish, we want for ourselves. And if we want for ourselves, that is another form of lust. Selflessness is connected with love, and love gives, lust takes. So every selfless person willing to help others, every selfless, tender-hearted person of this math, Gaudiya Math, which we are part of, will be prepared to shed the blood, 200 gallons of blood. That's the way of expressing this. Just go all out to help someone else, every individual in this world. Srila Prabhupada showed that. It was predicted, but he also predicted when he was born that he would spread Krishna consciousness in every town and village. But that was a prediction. That's one thing. Doing it is another thing. And he came at this age as a senior citizen and spread Krishna consciousness to the whole world with none other than people, most of whom were considered hippies. Now, if you want to form a company, would you take people who are hippies to form a company? I mean, really seriously. Are you going to say, oh, you're going to fail? But look at the miracle this is a Prabhupada performed. Taking people who really had shunned the status quo, were not making money the way people normally do, had taken life out, just gotten out of life and then just doing all of this stuff that's in more ignorance, free sexual things, promiscuity, drugs, all of that, and clean them up. That alone was a miracle. And then have them go out to the world, first in America, and then out to different countries around the world, and live by instructions that many people don't even want to do. Sense gratification, because of sense gratification, they don't want to do that. Take them from one end of a spectrum of way down ignorance in the hippie life to the highest transcendental type of life. Srila Prabhupada said a miracle even before he used them to go around to spread Krishna consciousness the whole world over. So if he has done that, we should also help for ISKCON's aim, which is Srila Prabhupada's aim, spread Krishna consciousness around the world, to be achieved. We should keep going. We should always, always, always remember that Srila Prabhupada wants Hare Krishna to be chanted everywhere. What am I doing to make that happen? How am I pleasing Srila Prabhupada? The cowherd boys, they were working, well, they were playing, they were also working, they were tending to the cows. They were working with Krishna, but their faith was very high. They were in the Sakya Ras, friend type Ras. And they considered Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in that he is their biggest hero. They didn't know him as God, but he's the biggest hero. And if anybody can kill these huge demons, it will be him. So when the demons come and they see that they want to get out, the demons are after Krishna, and the cowherd boys too, they don't care. They'll kill anybody. But Krishna took care of them. And so they had great faith, something we need to have. Even if we're fortunate, some of us are initiated, the Bhajan Kriya is already there, we got the initiation, spiritual masters, some people don't. It doesn't make any difference. When you're connected to Srila Prabhupada, you are in the process, and Krishna treats you the same way. By his mercy, you will get Guru later on. Prashad Pashan Bhagavad Prashado. But put your heart out. Put your heart out. When you call Bhakta, when you call Bhaktin, it means you are into Bhakti. Whether you initiated or not. Yeah. You are into Bhakti. And that should be our main. I'm hearing somebody trying to call me. Hopefully not. Anyway, so we should take the process very, very seriously. It's a goal we need to get to. Krishna Prema. It's achievable. The last point was in a lecture that I listened to the video of. His Holiness Govinda Maharaj described a person at Krishna Prema. And I know it takes a while to get there, but if our consciousness is one which we are determined, Krishna will in fact take us through the Anataniviti, getting rid of the unwanted desires, then to steadiness, then to the taste, the ruchi, and then to bhava, the beginnings of Krishna, the love of Godhead, the beginning, and then up to 100% Krishna Prema. Now, he described, this is Govinda Maharaj, he described the different levels of Prema. There are 7 of them. And then there's an 8th one that belongs to Srimati Radharani only. Now, we won't get into great detail about it, but there was, he says that you can compare Krishna Prema, when you get to Prema, like sugarcane juice that gets boiled and boiled and boiled and boiled. And of course, when it gets boiled, the water is vaporizing out. It's getting thicker. So it can get up to a point where it's like molasses, and it goes on and on and on until it gets really hard, like sugar candy, which is the highest. Now, different levels of Prema is shown by Lord Chaitanya in Shishastika, how he's feeling tears, hair standing erect and so on. That is, in fact, there's another Baba platform in Prema. There's a Baba before you get to Prema, and then in Prema itself, there are certain levels. Baba is also one of them. And then the Mahabhava, the 6th and the 7th. Baba is 6th, and then Mahabhava is the 7th. Now, why are we talking about all of these? We are not deprived from it. If we want to get Krishna Prema, get to Krishna Prema. We should stop being offensive to people, devotees and non-devotees alike. We should speak respectfully. We should chant with attention. That is, we chanting, pronouncing the words properly and loudly enough so we can hear, so that we can use not only our mouth as a sense, but our ears also. Even if we can see the mantra, because we've written it in front of us and we can see that. Our eyes are also taking part in it. We can look at the deity, reminds us of Krishna when we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We should take the process very seriously. Just like in college, we're willing to graduate, and we took it very seriously until we actually got to the goal. So anyway, in this particular video, as Gokuman Maharaj described all the different levels up to Mahabhav, and then said Srimati Radharani has all 7 of them together, and 7 of them called Madhamakya Mahabhav. Then one of the disciples asked the question, but Guru Maharaj, we're not even at prema, much less look at the different levels of prema. We appreciate you telling us, but how can we get prema? It seems that we'll never get there. Then Guru Maharaj did this. All right, it seems like this is what you're saying. So prema is up here and you're here. It's like the grapes are here and you are the fox, right? Remember the story? The fox trying to get the grapes, jump, 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 and Maharaj just jumping, jump, 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 can't get it. Oh, the grapes are sour. Give an excuse and then go away. So what he was making, the point he was making is, you can get the Krishna prema. Jump, 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 you can't get to it. So this is what you're trying to tell me. You can never get to Krishna prema because the grapes are sour, they're too high. Then it says, don't make Srila Prabhupada be very, very, very sorry. He has put in so much effort. Where is Krishna prema? He says, it's there. All you have to do is take it. Who has supplied it? Lord Chaitanya. That's me. Sometimes Ananda Lilamaya Vijahaya, sometimes it's played like that. Chandramita, sloka number 11. Imabya Divachavi Sundaraya. Lord Chaitanya's body is golden. Tasmi Mahaprema Raspadaya. He is supplying freely the Mahaprema. So Lord Chaitanya is supplying Mahaprema by dancing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Clean up your consciousness and it's there for you. So nobody should think that we can never get to Krishna Prema. We can get to Krishna Prema, just like the way we struggle to get the degree we wanted, do the same thing, this time in Krishna consciousness. So Govinda Maharaj answered this, by saying,
I'm sorry, Parikshit Prabhu, I muted you by accident. I was trying to
okay. Yeah, I noticed it immediately. No problem. So it's there. So in this year, let us try to get to Krishna Prema. If you aim high and you get to 95% of it, it's better than aiming 50% and getting 45%, which you're not going to get too far. So let's aim high. Krishna Prema is 100%. We're going to try to get there this year. By being the best person, by watching what other devotees who are experienced do and not do, okay? By listening to instructions from Srila Prabhupada in the lectures, by reading, by taking Krishna consciousness seriously, and hearing Krishna all day and night. And the last thing I want to talk about was, I said last thing, but there's one more. How do you hear at night the mantra? It's very simple. Turn your computer to the mantra, the chanting of mantra by Srila Prabhupada, and lower it so it's not too loud and go to sleep. So the mantra is going on the whole time. Put it in such a way that it's repeated. When you finish it, it starts again, wherever, on and on and on and on. And that way you hear the mantra nighttime also. Daytime is definitely up to you how you do it. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. Thank you for actually tolerating me. This is the Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 12. It begins with text 19, which is, the boy said, "Dear friends, is this creature dead, or is it actually a living python with his mouth spread wide just to swallow us all? Kindly clear up this doubt." And then the rest of the text do in fact clear the doubt that it is actually a living python. And ours should be the living mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Parikshit Prabhu, for a very wonderful class, and especially reminding us of the goal of Krishna consciousness, to develop this Krishna prema. Oftentimes, this sometimes gets lost or forgotten, or isn't really brought to the forefront. All these principles of we're not our body, becoming vegetarian, we should chant japa, we should engage in come to the temple, engage in service, read. Sometimes is the process, but where it leads us is to ultimately our eternal nature, Krishna prema, to engage in pure loving service. So that can also oftentimes be forgotten.
Yeah.
I also noticed that one of the biggest, sometimes the biggest criticism that comes our way in ISKCON, especially from different devotees that are in, other Gaudiya traditions, is that we lose sight of this. That we perform social service, but lose sight of this, the goal of Krishna prema. So thank you for this, because it has to really be, at our forefront. Very important message. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, we have a goal and we have to go for it. That's how we get back to the spiritual world. And the real enjoyment is there. Right now we're in jail. So try to get out and get to the goal. Hare Krishna.
Any questions from the devotees in the audience?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
That means everything is clear.
Yeah,
well, that's a lot of advice that Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj gives also. So great faith, great faith. Anyone can, ask a question if they want to. I just basically filling in a little bit of time. Great faith is important. Great faith is important. Without faith, you can't really shoot for the goal. But the goal should also be clear. Love of Godhead is when we get to Krishna Prema, Sri Prabhupada says we purchased Krishna. Now we know that everything we do, we want to do out of love and service to Krishna. And that way, he facilitates, makes it possible for us to serve. And it's a wonderful relationship that ensues then. And we'll really be in bliss, literally, even while we're still here in this jail. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for a nice class. And then you said that for Krishna Prema, aim for Krishna Prema, whatever, for 50%, you get 44%. That is a very nice thing. And I think we should aim for that. And then he is the controller. We all know that he's the controller and he can do. And then about night time, putting that Krishna, Hare Krishna mantra. And that is a very good thing, Prabhu. That rings in your in the head in the whole night. So that is a very good you told us. So I will try. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Krishna's mercy.
Krishna's mercy. Thank you.
It happened actually for us. It happened one time. We were, I think, in New Jersey, and my wife and myself, and we checked into a hotel, and to try to get the energy to be nice because all kinds of people come through there. We put on the Hare Krishna mantra on the computer, and at night we were tired, so none of us wanted to get off and turn the computer off. So the mantra continued low like that. I said, well, it's very good. So there we actually, we should really do this in the home too.
Can we put on the phone also, Prabhu?
Yeah, anything, as long as the mantra is coming out, whatever technology, use it.
So how to put in that?
Okay, well, that I'm not expert at it, but you can.
No, I'll try here. It's okay.
Yeah, you can. When on the internet, you certainly can get you the Prabhupada's mantra. You can if you go to if you go to YouTube. I'll just say if you go to YouTube, and then you search the Prabhupada's chanting, there's one after another. You take the one that takes a long time to do, and then turn it on, and then lower your volume of the cell phone and go to sleep. Because when it finishes, it's going to go to another mantra, another time, another video, like that. And that was the whole night. It will just keep chanting different mantras. When he's chanting fast, when he's chanting slow, when he's chanting with the devotees, all of that's there. Because I use it on our TV here anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah, good point to bring up. Now it's practical.
Yeah. I just want to try that.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for the nice class.
Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy. Okay. 9 o'clock now.
Parikshit Prabhu, thank you so very much for this great way to start the new year. Wonderful message for us to meditate on. as we engage in our devotional service. Very practical things, that she gave us with listening to the Maha Mantra and lectures and things like that all the time. Thank you so much for your association.
Jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
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 So I wanted to announce and remind the devotees. Tonight we begin at 5 o'clock a new Bhagavad Gita study group. It's a half-hour long, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's designed to just give people an opportunity to hear the Bhagavad Gita. We know due to the rigors of daily life, schedule conflicts that happen, just the busyness that happens, sometimes our reading isn't so regular. So this is really just designed to come a half hour, 3 times a week, and just hear the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhaktivedanta purports. It's not a class. It's just we're hearing. Each session will have a devotee assigned to answer any questions at the end. But it's a very simple program designed for the devotees to, as we go into 2021, to immerse themselves in more regular hearing.
Okay.
So please join us. It'll be on the same Zoom channel, 5 o'clock tonight, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
5 o'clock. I'll try to join. This is a wonderful.
No. You got your own programs in Harrisburg. We know.
Well,
You're welcome to
there's
join.
no conflict.
You're welcome
5
to
o'clock,
join.
there's no conflict, so I could be there. There isn't, so that's good.
No, that'd be great. You can join us sometimes. That would be wonderful.
That
It's
will
always
be
great to
great,
have your
Prabhu.
association, Prabhu.
Anyway,
Thank
the
you.
Bhagavad Gita, I'm saying yes to that. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Right. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha.
Satrubhyascha, Kripasindhubhyeva Kitanam Pavanevyo, Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha.
Shri Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Jai.